Just keeps getting weirder and weirder every day. It's unbelievable when I look at my news feeds. The most insane policy in U.S. history. Let's get into it. Should you be paying $450,000 per illegal immigrant? Ooh, that makes the shoulder twitch a little bit. So what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? What is going on in both political parties is absolutely insane. These people care more about money than humanity. The current border policy is hurting people on both sides, in my opinion. So this is not a joke. This is a serious story in the media right now. I'd like to ask something. What happened to the Democratic Party that I loved? You know, they're now stepping off a cliff. The Democratic Party used to be the party of the working people of this country. So if you guys pay me a 7-figure consulting fee, I will help you figure out the problem. I already wrote up an outline. I can knock this out of the park in the think tank group in 13 days. You know, I about fell off my chair when I read one of my 11 news feeds. I didn't want to talk about this, but the madness is out of control. I didn't think we could top the story of Janet Yellen unrealized capital gains story. So the Wall Street Journal and other mainline news outlets are talking about this story, and the White House has not denied it. Okay, it's been going on the last couple of days. So here's the Washington Journal quote number one. Take a look at this. The Biden administration is in talks to offer immigrant families that were separated during the Trump administration around $450,000 a person in compensation. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, $450,000 a person for crossing the border illegally. Here is the Washington Journal. Here's the second quote. The U.S. Justice Department, Homeland Security, and Health and Human Services are considering payments that could amount to close to $1 million a family. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you cross the border illegally, $1 million. Where do I sign up? I think I'm going to go to Mexico and cross the border, renounce my citizenship in the United States, and get $1 million. So I'm going to tell you right now, you wake up in the morning, trust me, you don't need coffee anymore. I can save you a lot of money. Believe me, just listen to me and your blood will get boiling. You have 2 coffees a day, that's $5. Think times a week, times a month. I'll save you a ton of money. So let's get into the weeds in this. If you are an American citizen killed in a war, our government promises to send your family less than what Joe Biden promises to give illegal aliens for the inconvenience of being deported. What? I had to read that 4 times. There has been some confusion on the numbers in the media, by the way, and I dug a little deeper. So let me clean this up. The death gratuity program provides for a special tax-free payment of $100,000 to eligible survivors of members of the armed forces who die while on active duty or while serving in certain reserve statuses. So the usual payment is $100,000. They are also given up to $8,800 for the funeral costs. The wife is given about $1,000 a month and an additional $300 for each child until they reach the age of. So the media has been saying military members get $400,000, which is still less than what the illegals are going to get, but that is not correct. They are required to carry at least $400,000 of insurance. However, as far as payment, it's $100,000 versus $450K for illegal aliens. So I would say, why pay your taxes at this point if you're an American? This is more than some 9/11 victims get, and more than any ordinary American gets, by the way. Foreigners with no respect for our system and laws are hitting the absolute jackpot right now. It's insane. So the Biden administration is now in serious talks about this. They want to roll out a reparations plan for illegal aliens, for border crossers who entered our country illegally, and those who were subjected to President Trump's zero tolerance policy in 2018. And guess what? His policy worked. Even the Mexican and Guatemalan presidents said it worked, and they were happy with the programs. Illegal immigration was reduced by 95%. Biden now says, Benvenido, come on down. Every single illegal alien that was arrested and separated from their child, each one is entitled to at least $450,000 of reparation-style payment, tax-free, by the way. Tax-free, $450K. Put that right into your account. And by the way, the zero tolerance policy is long-standing U.S. policy. It goes back 20 years. It goes back to a Clinton appointee federal judge. Bill Clinton appointee federal judge in the 1990s. So this policy of separating adults and children, holding them for a while in separate faculties, not cages, as they are being processed instead of immediately being deported. By the way, most countries, other countries do it that way. They just deport you. So kids were put in cages and separated under the Obama administration as well. To be fair to both administrations, kids were separated to ascertain if they have disease or they were human trafficked because they didn't know the adult they were with. They had to interview them. And Trump just applied the law on the books more strictly. He was just enforcing the law on the books, zero tolerance. So what happened is the illegals took up lawsuits and the ACLU got involved and they said they were subjected to psychological and mental trauma. How dare you go 2 to 3 days without your child? So right now you're gonna bill Uncle Sam for all that they are worth. They are demanding $3.4 million in reparations per family. Biden administration went to the table and said, we'll give you $450,000 each child, each as part of a payment, and all the lawsuits filed. So the Washington Journal said a lot of the border crossers were one parent, one child, and that will amount to $1 million per family. So let me point this. They come to our country illegally. They cross our borders illegally. They are detained, by the way, in air-conditioned faculties. They're given 3 meals a day. Kids are given jeans, sneakers, computers, you name it, they got it, laptops. They were basically in hotels, soccer fields, baseball fields, and that's all on record with pictures. Now, due to COVID-19, we have 10 more million Americans, citizens, in poverty. That doesn't sit well with me. That doesn't sit well with me. Now each border crosser gets $450,000 to $1 million per family, creating instant millionaires. Wow, where do I sign up? I'm going to go to Mexico, renounce my citizenship in the United States, walk across the border and file a lawsuit. So for what? They get this money for what? Because they came across the border illegally. So one attorney stated that these payments will amount to more monies than some 9/11 victims received in most cases. People who served our country. Remember the 9/11 victims compensation fund? So you cross the border illegally and you get more money than the families that were killed by Islamic terrorists on September 11th? What? What? Tom Cotton, I don't follow politics really in these guys, but Tom Cotton said, not only has Biden opened the border and told everyone to come here, we are effectively giving you amnesty and citizenship. That's right. He said, come on in, we're going to give you amnesty. So you come to the U.S. illegally, all the welfare government checks you want, all the entitlement programs you want. And now Biden is telling illegals, you come to the U.S., you can sue the government and you will make millions of dollars. Sue the government and taxpayers will pick up the tab. It's absolutely absurd. It's absolutely absurd. I like this quote by Tom Cotton. It would be unthinkable to pay damages to a burglar who broke into your house for the psychological trauma they endured during the crime. Yet Biden wants to award people who violate the law of the land. Bottom line, the Biden administration promises of entitlements and citizenship have caused the worst border crisis in U.S. history. This week, the Democrats unveiled a reconciliation package. Joe Biden's cancellation of Trump's border policies on the U.S.-Mexican border have led to one of the greatest humanitarian crises of our time. A record 1.7 million, it's going to be over 2 million by Christmas, have encountered attempting to enter the U.S. illegally in the last 12 months, the highest number recorded ever since the government first began tracking migrant movements in 1960. More shocking, nearly 147,000 children were apprehended in the period without parents or guardians. And these children are being brought over by coyotes, they're being raped, being murdered, and put into sex trafficking in the United States. So thousands remain in the U.S. custody today. So more to the point, however, is what this great betrayal means for the American people, already suffering the devastating effects of lingering pandemic. Millions of U.S. citizens currently find themselves either underemployed or unemployed thanks to government-mandated lockdowns, which incidentally were the most draconian in the Democrat-run cities and states that cut a swath of destruction through the main street, the very home of small businesses. And now a lot of these leaders on both sides said, well, maybe we shouldn't have locked down. And they were, yeah, I mean, really? So, in some feeble gesture, as you all remember, to offset the suffering created by the bad governments, middle-class Americans were given stimulus checks to weather the lockdown nightmare. On average, those checks totaled about $4,000 per citizen. Now compare that to taxpayer-subsidized $450K that Biden wants to award illegal immigrants. This is an obscene amount of money, and more so when it is remembered that it might be paid to people who have contributed not a single copper penny to the U.S. tax load. I pay almost 6 figures in taxes. In sum, critics of the Biden administration proposed financial payouts, including career government attorneys, have noted that these illegal aliens would receive more money than the families of some 9/11 victims and families of our fallen troops. In 9 months, the Biden administration has essentially opened the southern border to a record level of illegal immigration, refused to enforce immigration laws in the interior, and now is reportedly on the verge of making some illegal aliens wealthy at taxpayer expense. Is there any doubt how foreign nationals around the world would respond, right? Moreover, such financial rewards, the bulk of which, you know this, I always talk about this, will certainly go to money-hungry lawyers, are an insult to the millions of hardworking American people whose ancestors first arrived in this country legally and with an invitation, and not sneaking in through the black door. So that's what's going to happen. You think they're going to, I mean, these people are going to get money. It's more than Americans got, but a lot of lawyers are going to take that money. So let me be crystal clear. I believe in legal immigration, not illegal immigration. I'm a citizen of Mexico. I'm working on my citizenship in the UK for 3 years. I might have to pay $30,000. I have a lot of friends in Mexico that came to the United States legally, and it took years, and they did it the right way, and they're proud of that. And by the way, illegal immigration hurts Black Americans more than any other race. And the reason I say Black, my friends that are Black say, Tim, don't call me African American. I'm not in Africa. I'm an American citizen. I'm Black. I'm a Black American. You're a white American. So my Black friends, they're going to be hurt the most. And I have Hispanic friends, and the data clearly shows Hispanics that come here legally are hurt as well by illegal immigration. And that is why in the focus groups right now, the Democratic Party is bleeding Hispanic voters and Black voters right now. So these policies are way out of control. I'm a tax-paying citizen. I pay a lot of money in taxes, as I said earlier, a lot of money. And I don't think it's fair. Am I out of line here? I don't think it's fair that someone gets $450,000 for breaking the laws of the land. I follow the laws. I have friends in Mexico that follow the laws, and I'm trying to get citizenship in other countries and do it the right way. Do it the right way. And I mean, to spit on hardworking Americans. I mean, God, the Democratic Party, go back to the middle. Pick up these voters, man. You're going too far the other way, both you guys. It's insane. I mean, when you start proposing policies of going after $600, and you have Americans going, you're hitting the little guy. You're hitting the little guy. You're going after the little guy's money. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm talking to people that have less than $1 billion a year. I have a lot of friends that are pulling money. I'm down here with a client that pulled money out of the U.S. They pulled $36 million out of the U.S. It's gone. So I'm talking to you. I'm talking to people under $1 billion. They're leaving the U.S. They're taking tens of millions of dollars out. I'll take our money out. a lot of money, and you're starting to piss people off that pay a lot of money in taxes and contribute to the economy in the United States. And for example, in California, a lot of businesses are leaving. It just, in the end, it doesn't make sense. And now people are starting to wake up to this even more. And I'm just saying this, a little greed is good. But when you guys are pushing the peasant and pauper class and the millionaire class now too far, and people are all waking up to this, you're pushing too far and you're getting too greedy. You're getting too greedy right now. And the end result is going to be a bad result all the way around, because people are getting a little upset. And in the end, it's going to be worse. So I think this is a terrible policy. I think it's a terrible policy. And we are the only country right now with an open border during a so-called pandemic. 12% or more of the people coming across the border have COVID-19. So why do we have an open border? This isn't the Spanish flu. This isn't the bubonic plague. Millions of people aren't dying. If we truly had a very contagious virus and millions of people were dying, you would not be able to fly in a plane, ladies and gentlemen, sit next to passengers. I just sat on a full plane right next to everyone, and you wouldn't have an open border. So what is our government trying to tell us? Border's wide open. I can fly on a plane. So it's very interesting times right now to be alive, 100%. So I have a problem with this policy to make people instant millionaires for violating the law, and also being treated like kings in these faculties. If you've ever seen these faculties, and they're eating better than the poor people and homeless on the streets of America in these faculties. So I think both parties need to come together and stop this insanity. There's not a moment's day's rest. People just want to live their lives and work, pay our taxes, and contribute to the economy and make America a better place, man, and improve our streets, our roads. And I mean, I'm in Dubai right now. You want to see the airport out here, the hotels, everything's brand new, it's beautiful. And we go back to America and look at our airports and our streets and our roads. It's disgusting. It's embarrassing, because we got money coming in the front door and it's going out the back door to people's pockets. It's terrible. Take care.